I was dangling above the laser grid in Phil Spencer's office when the heads of EA, Ubisoft, CDPR, and a whole bunch of other publishers came storming in, and they were angry. They said, "Phil, what the hell, man?" And Phil's just sitting at his desk smoking his big cigar, drinking his big wine, big box of wine. And he says, "Hey, EA, Ubisoft, CDPR, other big publishers, what's wrong? Come on, have a seat. Get yourself a cigar and a box of wine." And the head of Ubisoft, he said, "Phil, we've about had it with you. We want to be on Game Pass. Why won't you let us be on Game Pass?" And Phil just looks at him and he says, What do you give me? What do you give me? The old Philster, the old Phil Spencer, if I let you on Game Pass." And the head of Ubisoft, he says, "I'll give you every Ubisoft game for half price." And Phil just puffs on his gigantic cigar. And he says, "What about you, EA? What you gonna give me?" And the head of EA looks at the head of Ubisoft and says, "I'll give you every EA game for free." And then Phil takes his gigantic box of wine. And he looks at the head of CDPR and says, "What do you do for me?" And he says, "I will pay you $1 billion to put Cyberpunk 2077 on Game Pass." And then Phil stands up and he says, "You get the hell out of here. I'm not going to play your broken, buggy game." And the head of CDPR runs off crying. And he looks at the head of Ubisoft and EA and he says, "All right, guys. It's between you two. Which one of you is going to be on Game Pass?" And the Ubisoft and EA guy look at each other. They say, "We both want to be on Game Pass." And Phil says, Sorry, we only we're only getting one publisher on there, so come on, offer me more. I want more." And they look at each other and they say, "We know how to get Todd Howard off your back." And then Phil says, "All right, I'm listening." And they say, all you gotta do is put Skyrim on Game Pass." And I'm up there still dangling above the laser grid above Todd Howard's, not Todd Howard, Phil Spencer's head. I got Todd on the mind. Dangling there above Phil Spencer's head. And I say, "Don't, Phil, it's a trick." And he looks up at me and he looks at the two guys and they've combined the Todd Howard. And Todd starts laughing. "I got you. Putting Skyrim on Game Pass whether you like it or not." And then Todd runs out of the room and Phil looks up at me and he says, "Who the hell are you and what are you doing in here?" And I say, I'm the cat man. I make up boring videos on the internet." And Phil looks at me and says, "Oh, you must write the stories for Ubisoft games." That entire story was a joke about how Ubisoft games have bad stories. And they're all boring, and their games are boring. Like and comment and subscribe below if you think Ubisoft games are boring. Like, comment, and subscribe below if you want to get angry at me about talking about Ubisoft games being boring.